And now the last game of the quarterfinals. Night 6. The contestants consisted of Sam Buttery, Jessica Stevens, Zach Newkirk. I actually just noticed 2 of the champions today are winners of previous tournaments, and both tournaments are the first from Jeopardy. Now, as we remember, Jessica was one of 2 players to defeat Matamodio, and she's one of 2 champions of the recently concluded Second Chance tournament. However, Zach is the only champion to play while Trebek was still the host. Since his appearances were halted due to COVID restrictions, if anyone, Zach would know how to play after returning after some time. And what a coincidence that Zach played the day before Trebek's passing. I also remember Ken started co-hosting the anniversary of Alex Trebek's death last year. I can't believe I didn't even mention this. I also vaguely mentioned Sam was competitive in the Professor's tournament. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised whomever wins. Ken Jennings' instruction was, welcome everyone to the second week of the Tournament of Champions. We have 3 seeded champions, Amy Schneider, Matamodio, and Mateo Roach, waiting in the wings for their next round of the competition already, alongside the winners of our 5 quarterfinal games. Today we welcome back Zach, Jessica, and Sam to learn who will play the last remaining spot in the semifinals. Let's begin with the first question. 4 letters, a potato in Pueblo or Peru. Jessica wasn't answered, what is Lima, which was incorrect, already taking her down to negative $1,000 in the first few seconds. There's plenty of time to turn that around. The answer was, what is Papa? In ancient Rome, it was the 9th month. After Sam answered, what is November, Ken told him, yes, your naval background served you well. You don't need a naval background for that. Especially because October and Octagon. October, like octopus, octagon, and 9 comes after 8. And December and Decagon, you can fill in the blank. In this French river alley, you can visit the Château de Chambord, once home to Louis XIV. I guess Louis XIV is common to appear in Jeopardy questions. He was the question of the final Jeopardy round in Ender He's second game, and he was the answer in the first Daily Double in Erica Hossack's third game. And I love how he came up the game after Erica Hossack won. Sam got the first Daily Double. He made it a true Daily Double to take a score to $6,800. Unfortunately, it's wrong, and went down to 0. This is the lowest I've seen the scores this far into the first round. Sam started a scholarship endowment after he won the Professor's tournament. The audience clapped after he told his anecdote. I wonder if he ever adopted cats as he said he would. Ken asked what the highlight was for Jessica to win the Second Chance tournament. I really love that I got to run a category, especially against very strong players. And it was a category about phobias, and a guest of mine in the audience told me afterward that somebody leaned forward and said, I don't mean to be offensive, but why does she know all these phobias? Ken laughed, and they were just trying to rack their brain. Why would that be offensive? Ken laughed again. Everything about it was very special to me, and just being here is fantastic. Ken told her, it is not sus to know a million phobias here on Jeopardy, in my opinion. The closed captions picked it up as, it is nice for us to know a million phobias here on Jeopardy. Huh. Also, sus. Is this a new... Is that what the kids are saying now? And is Ken trying to be hip by saying it? Speaking of phobias, I was scared of myself when I saw the anecdote posted on Jeopardy's social media and noticed that Jessica was in the negative. This phobia anecdote will be important for later. Zach's money went toward a new house. Yes, so the Jeopardy money went towards the down payment of our house, which came with not just 1, but 2 tree houses connected. And our very first guest to ever arrive at our house was my former competitor, Brian Chang, and Tournament of Champions qualifier. And he was the first person ever to break in that zip line, or brave enough, rather, to break in that zip line. And he survived. Ken asked, were you hoping he'd survive, or were you hoping this would give you a leg up in the tournament? Zach answered, no comment, as the audience laughed. Now I'm imagining Brian going through that zip line. I love how Jeopardy champions and their competitors have gone together personally to spend time with each other. I remember Ryan Long and Bradford Pearson watched their taping air. Also, I can't believe it took me this long to ask, am I the only one who thinks Bradford Pearson looks like David Boreanaz? As Lou Grant, this actor told Mary Tyler Moore at a job interview, you got spunk. I hate spunk. The answer was obviously Ed Asner, a video that, as of now, still has to be uploaded. This was also filmed shortly after the anniversary of his passing. Jessica ended the first round scoring negative $1,400. Plenty of time in Double Jeopardy to get back on the positive. Zach was in second place at $2,200, and Sam was in the lead at $8,000.
He got both daily doubles.
Sam got the first daily double in Double Jeopardy, waited $2,000, got it right, and went to $10,400. Zach got the second daily double in Double Jeopardy, risked $7,000, Unfortunately, after wrong, went down to $2,000. I don't know if I feel worse for him or Jessica. Right after he got the daily double wrong, Zach selected in that novel, then immediately selected another category. I've never seen that before. It's the fear of old people. Now I know Jessica should get this one since she knows her phobias. Sam buzzed in and didn't answer. I don't mean to say Sam is old in a bad way. I just can't help it. It's ironic that Sam didn't answer. Jessica buzzed in and Ken told her, Jessica, that's kind of your thing. She answered, gyrophobia, which is incorrect. Then Zach buzzed in and answered, what's gerontophobia, which is correct. There's actually a strange way I already knew this answer that I don't know if I want to admit. That unfortunately took Jessica down to negative $6,600. This is when I knew it was over for her, which is ironically how she won a spot in the Tournament of Champions. There are 8 questions left. Even if Jessica ends Double Jeopardy in a streak, she'll still be in the red at negative $200, so not quite. Sam ended Double Jeopardy winning $19,600. Zach was in second place at $5,200, and Jessica was in the red at negative $5,800, so she won't be in Final Jeopardy by default. Before I get to Final Jeopardy, I have to address a few things. Jessica's score of negative $5,800 is the lowest since Matt King scored negative $6,400 in Amy Schneider's 5th game, almost a year ago exactly, on November 23rd. Seems like it's bad luck in November. This is also the lowest score from any champion in a tournament. However, Jessica was one of 2 players to defeat 38-day champion Matt Amodio by a margin of almost $25,000, and she made the first game of Second Chance Tournament a runaway. Not only does this prove that Jessica's or any player's negative scores are just a fluke, it's a perfect example that scores as low as Matt's or Jessica's are not representative of their overall knowledge. And sometime after Amy's 5th game, I found out the lowest score ever on Jeopardy was negative $7,400 on Matt Amodio's 4th game. This was only one day before I noticed Matt was a 5-game champion and thought of watching Jeopardy again for Alex's birthday, over a week before I actually started keeping track of Matt's wins. For almost a year now, I've been wanting to do a video on Stephanie Hull's score of negative $4,800, which was the lowest score from any player at the time, and I said I could do a part 2 to Matt's score.
Matt, I'm afraid you took your swings. That's a strategy. It didn't always pay off. You were close so many times. But we're going to have to say goodbye to you here. You finished in 3rd place at $1,000. Since Ken told Matt he was close so many times, I'll talk more about this in a part 2 video where we analyze just how close the answers were. I'm sure they were close, and I'm sure he did better than a lot of viewers would want to give him credit for. So stay tuned for that.
Thanks, Jessica. I now have a much stronger argument for my case. Also, I know this section of the video is confusing just because there are 2 Matts that I'm talking about. That is strange that there's a player named Matt who got the lowest score, and one of the other players who also had one of the lowest scores happened under Matt Amodio's reign. Jessica did such a great job in her run at Jeopardy overall, so I'm definitely not concentrating on the negativity of her game. Besides, just to bring this up yet again, I already did 2 videos of Anna Sass scoring all zeros on Family Feud, and I still have more to say about it, so there might be a part 3. Some fans even went as far as to say the Second Chance Tournament was pointless since both winners lost in the quarterfinals. This is when I'd remind those fans that Jessica defeated Matt Amodio by almost $25,000 and pulled off a runaway in her first game back. Speaking of runaways, look at Rowan's game in Second Chance. 2 consecutive runaways. Also, it's the first Tournament of Champions from the season of the Super Champions and other players who broke many records. An unfortunate circumstance had to happen sooner or later. So many strong players in Second Chance, and so many strong players in the Tournament of Champions. One last note is when the Jeopardy YouTube channel uploaded this, they called it the last semi-final game. It's since been corrected. Because of this mistake, is the Jeopardy staff pointless now? The Final Jeopardy category was phrases from the ancient world. The question was, Cicero wrote that a tyrant ordered this to be hung from the ceiling by a horse hair. His guests begged to leave. The answer was the Sword of Damocles, which Zach and Sam answered correctly. Both made small wagers, which ultimately didn't matter because Sam is now a semifinalist after pulling off an exciting runaway. The overheard on set was titled, Sam Does a Thing. Ken asked Sam about the buzzer technique. He answered, I don't have any idea what was happening here because I've seen these guys. They are great players, and I just, you just wait till the lights come on and do a thing, I don't know. Which Sam says is also his motto. I guess that's why the overheard on set was titled that way. Zach was asked how the game went, which she answered, I'm so honored to have lost to Steve Martin. I'm Sam. The audience laughed. Yeah, that's something I haven't addressed in any of these videos, that fans think Sam looks like Steve Martin. Ken and Zach said it never gets old. can apologize about just because result, and that if she has sort of Damocles. She answered, I did, and I also went from being a one and done to the Tournament of Champions within a few weeks, so it still feels like a win. The video ends in Sam flossing. Now onto the great exhibit game.
And as always, thank you for watching.